Hey there, Stephanie Joy with all things Social Security and the law practice of Joy Disability. Here's a short little segment from our recent live stream Q&A that we have every Wednesday at 1 p.m. Eastern Standard Time on the YouTube channel, All Things Social Security. Enjoy, and if you have any questions, leave them down below in the comments, and I will be sure to get to them. Thanks so much. Bye-bye now.
PC's in the house. Hey, PC. Hello, Joy and chat. If someone has a medical disorder, can they receive the short CDR form rather than long form? I believe they probably could. I don't know that they give us, there's any stats on that from the SSA at all. They don't really speak too much about that stuff. But I would tend to think they might be able to. Are you thinking, PC, that maybe not? Like, because mental is subjective and people don't even know how people get ill half the time, so therefore they don't really know how they become unill or improved. I mean, it is kind of one of those little Wild West things, isn't it? It stands to reason that they could, though. But I can't say for sure. Kosher says, true on the fee issue, aka slow walking. I guess it would impact a high earner less than a low earner. 9,200 is reached quickly, and so yes, for sure. If you think about it, if someone has a $3,000 primary insurance amount, which will then be their SSD benefit should they prevail, it's $36,000 for 1 year. 12 months of back benefits gives the rep that full fee you just pointed out, right? So it's definitely true that, I know some practitioners won't take SSI cases because the amount per month is so low that they're concerned that they won't make a full fee. I never take a case based on whether the fee would be full or not. I mean, we do look at risk. I should say it this way. There's pro bono when if you fight hard, you could increase that person's chance of winning, but there's going to be no fee. That's one decision of how many of those you can take and still, make a living. And then, I think the people that try to actuarially try to figure it out too much are really overthinking things because there's too many wild cards. And yeah, there's some things that make it more risky, but some of the cases that I thought would be the worst have been the highest payer. So, because you just don't know where it's going to go and how long it's going to take and how far back the established onset date is going to be. But yeah, that's slow walking. It's just very ugly. With regard to the SSI too, I think sometimes they will say, and this could be true too, I don't take SSI because I feel bad taking a fee from a person who's so poor as to be needing SSI. That's valid, except you're also not helping them. Do you know what I mean? Like, well, then why don't you just say, I'll take it pro bono and waive fee if that's what you want to do. Now, I don't even waive fee. I don't do that at all. I don't play that game either. But, in terms of I'll take a case that could generate a fee, but I'm going to say, no, I don't want a fee. I don't do that either. However, just take the, if you're speaking that virtue signaling game, like I don't take SSI because I don't want to take money from a indigent person. Well, you're basically saying I'm not going to help them. They're indigent now too. So all that, the virtue signaling part about it is I had nothing to do with. Either you take the case and help the person and take your fee, or waive your fee if you want to. That is kind of walking the walk. I'm not that nice, so I take the fee, but because we do, I think is why we have no differentiation. There's no like, oh, everything's got to be decided whether it's an SSI case or an SSD case because we can only take so much of SSI. That's not even a criteria in categorizing cases at all. Aunt Lizzie's in the house. Hi, Aunt Lizzie. Can I call and make sure we haven't been forgotten? We haven't heard for 3 months on my son's SSI after denial and appeal. You mean, are you does he have an attorney? I think you're saying he doesn't. I think we've talked about this, right? Yes, of course you can call the SSA. You have gotten no letter saying it's at like an adjudicator yet. You would think that it might be that they're waiting on an adjudicator, but yes, I would call if you have a number to call. Yep, for sure. No, without a doubt. Chris, you are very welcome. And thanks for popping in. Very nice to meet you. Brown-eyed girls in the house. How does grid rules change chances for person who turns 60 on approval for SSI? Not greatly, because it's over 55. However, there is that one little rule. I think I mentioned I was going to go find it a few weeks ago, and I still haven't. It's not part of the grids, but it is. I think it's some narrative in a Social Security ruling, and they talk both about 55, but then they also mention 60. And why would you mention it unless it's extra special? And I think it's when, although this is true at 55 and above too, I think it is extremely pinpoint at 60, and that is if a 60-year-old has transferable skills, which would mean that they could carry down to that light job they are physically able to do, even though they can't do their old job and they can't do more than light, but they have transferable skills learned from the past relevant work, which is in the last 5 years, that could be transferred to this light job that they could do. There is a SSR, it's really important, statement that new light job that you're talking about, that they could transfer their skills to, has got to be so on point with the job they had before that it's just lighter, which is why they can't do the so on point. It's got to be the same. I mean, I would argue it's got to be the same industry, the same processes, almost the same company, and this is going to be next to impossible for this to happen. I think to find this same software, technology, same steps, same everything's got to look the same. The person is not, and because what they're saying is that person, his ability to adjust even to the same, using those same skills, but in a whole different setting, is very, very difficult for someone at 60 to do. And they speak to it in terms of 60. Although the rule is kind of applicable to 55, but they drill it home at 60. So I think it's something that a 60-year-old or even a 59-year-old saying, I'm breathing down the neck, should use that, hey, so when if the VE gives jobs that the person could do, they transfer the skills to that are light. If I were the attorney, I would be looking at the old job and being like, okay, there's, I might even say, Judge, can I do a post-hearing brief? Because maybe I don't want to give it up where I don't really want to give the VE necessarily an opportunity to say, that's quite similar. Actually, what I probably is ask him to point out the differences, if anything. Like the old job was in aerospace, and this new job is in food manufacturing. Maybe it's a high-end skilled job where the person learned a lot, has a lot of skills. Maybe I would just ask blanket, very blatant questions that I knew the answer to. So the food industry job you just mentioned of being a food blah 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 scientist, that's a different industry than the aerospace, correct? Yes. I mean, you can't say no. So I'd probably make pinpoint questions like that, or I would leave it alone and do a post-hearing brief just to point it out to the judge. These three jobs are very not exactly the same processes, tools, instruments, software, industry. I think I said that. So that is probably the big thing with 60, I'd say. Otherwise, it's like 57, 58, 59, above 50, 55 and above. Optically, I would say this too, though, brown-eyed, that a judge probably does, I wouldn't be surprised as a human to not say 55 is a little different from 60, even though the rules are the same. So, they would, I think that's where that little rule I was talking about, that little statement by SSA can really kick it in by pointing it out. So, he could, use it to make sure the case tips in the right direction. It should anyway, but why not make it super easy? Hey, Christina. Good morning from California. She says that's right because it's a good morning for her, but not for us. Nino's in the house. Hey, Nino. My question is, I've been denied twice. I'm sorry to hear that, Nino. I have an upcoming hearing in July. Had back surgery, total disc replacement, ooh, L5S1, and just recently L1, L2 fusion. It's all documents still got denied. Curious, Nino, how old are you? I have a feeling it's your vocational profile. Let me know that. Put it in the post. Hits for Life is in the house and says 45 years old, waiting for ALJ decision for 2 months now, New York City. How long does it usually take to get a decision? 2 months might be average. So a little more, a little less. So I wouldn't be concerned yet. I would probably say if it hits, well, here's another thing. I'm always, you're going to get the decision out eventually. To bug the staff. What is that going to serve? Going to make them want to award you? It's not that they have any business. They got no say in whether you get awarded or not. It's all, the ALJ already knows, probably. I know you can't see in your electronic file and you probably don't have an attorney. But if you do have an attorney, they can look in and sometimes I think you can see if there's any post-hearing development the judge is doing that's holding up the decision, which is then holding up the right of the decision. I mean, it's not typical, but could be. Doesn't sound like it, though. I think that they're just, they have a pool of writers, and they get cycled through, and they all get assigned to the judges in the next one. And so sometimes it's just waiting for a decision writer. Autumn Harvest. Oh, Autumn Harvest Dude Ranch. Remember, you have the dogs, right? Yeah. I think I met you on Jonathan's evening live stream way back. Mr. Pep Mom. Hey, Mr. Pep. I still haven't received my back pay. It's been almost 4 months. My attorney has been paid. Oh. Well, has your attorney written to them? Have you what's going on? Did you talk about this before? You must have, because you're here kind of regularly, right? What is the holdup? Do you know? Do you have a workers' comp case? That is a huge holdup. I hate that. It's such a pain. But usually the attorney is held up too. So you got to get on that. 4 months, that's way too long. At least letters, you could do a phone call to the field office. They probably don't have it. It's probably because they don't do the part for the payment for SSD. They're more in tune with SSI, but they can kind of maybe take a peek at what the payment center is doing and send another message. Do we talk about that? Where they can send I don't know how they do it. It's through their internal system. Send a message to the payment center saying, and you can also speak to your attorney first, but reach out to your congressperson and say, prevailed, attorney's been paid. I'm sitting here 4 months later and I'm still not paid. I think they'll get on it. And as I always say, reach out to the congressperson who is up next for re-election.